This is a coordinate plane. When trying to decide if a number might be positive or negative, think of it as if it was two different number lines crossing each other. Let me illustrate this by removing the vertical line so we're just looking at the horizontal line. If I mark this as 0 and the remaining intervals, you may recognize this as the number line that it is. We know that everything to the right of the 0 on the number line is going to be positive. And we know that everything to the left of the 0 on the number line is going to be negative. If we bring back the vertical line, notice that it slides right over top of the 0 point that we marked on there. That's because the vertical and the horizontal lines both cross at the 0 point on each one of those lines. That means on the horizontal line, the value is 0 where it intersects, and same with the vertical line, the value is 0. We've given that point a special name. It's called the point of origin. So therefore, if the vertical line is also a number line, that means everything above the 0 point is going to be positive, and everything below the 0 point is going to be negative. Now we have two lines intersecting, and we need to know when we're talking about points on each one of those lines. So every point that is on the horizontal line, we've associated as an x value. And on the vertical line, all of the points are going to be a y value. And that's where your x and y values come from on a plane. Notice that we've also divided this entire plane into 4 different sections. Each one of those sections has a special name. The top right is going to be quadrant 1. The top left section is going to be labeled as quadrant 2. Notice that we're using Roman numerals. The bottom left is going to be quadrant 3. We are moving in a counterclockwise direction, which is the opposite of a clock, hence counterclockwise. And the last section is going to be quadrant 4. This allows us to be able to identify points in each one of the 4 sections and whether or not it's on the y or the x number line. We've already established that anything on the right side of the horizontal number line is positive, but what about the vertical number line? That would be our y value. Would the y value be positive or would it be negative? Well, in this case, it's going to be running along this section right here, which is above the 0. That makes it a positive number. So all numbers of any point in the quadrant 1, x and y, are going to be positive values. In quadrant 2, we've already identified that the x value is going to be a negative number. What about the y value? The y value, just like quadrant 1, is located along this number line right here. Therefore, just like in quadrant 1, the y value is positive. So in section 2, or quadrant 2, the x value is negative and the y value is always going to be positive. In quadrant 3, we have an x value and we have a y value. In the x value, we are located along this part of the number line. It is to the left of the 0, so we know that is going to be a negative number. The y value is located along this section of this number line. That makes it also a negative value. So in quadrant 3, both the x and the y are negative values. In quadrant 4, we have x and we have y. Notice that we always put the x first, then the y in these ordered pairs. The x value is going to be these numbers running along this number line, and in this case, it is to the right of the 0. That makes it a positive. The y is located along this number line, and it is below the 0, so therefore it's going to end up being a negative number. So in quadrant 4, the x value is positive, but the y value is negative. When you look at these four quadrants and you're looking at the x and the y values, whether they're positive or negatives, what patterns do you notice?